Okay, quick overview of this listening box. Camera view's not that great. This is numbered here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C. That's the 12 channels you can select. You can select which channel you're on by turning the dial here. Now, as you can see, I've currently got VIP-001 selected. That's the St Pancras Vipedia for 211. The green button is back, so if I go back, I've then got a menu. So I can, in the menu, I can select what node I want. There's some other settings here as well, change some threshold settings and things like that. If I wanted to pick a different node, I'll just go in there, select which Vipedia or Integra I'm wired into, and then that way it knows all of the zone names that these relate to. Okay, so I'm going to go back to VIP1 because that's the unit that I've got here, and select that, go back into listening. So at the moment I've connected in a Bluetooth transmitter which is bolted on the side here. I've got a little Bluetooth speaker there. You can also plug in here because you've got a jack. You can plug in your own speakers or headphones if you wanted to. And then over this side, these are your RJ45 connectors. So this is audio 1 to 4. I don't think you can read it on the camera. Audio 5 to 8 there, and audio 9 to 12. All right. So if I plug this in now, I've only got one Cat5 here at a time. Basically, this is coming out of the audio 1 to 4 on the back of the Vipedia. So if I plug that into the audio 1 to 4 connector there, okay, and this little trigger box here, all I've done is it's got 12 switches, and if I trigger number 1, it'll play a test message to output 1. If I trigger 2, it'll trigger an output message to output 2. So we can easily test this. So if I turn that on and then trigger number 1, because we're on 1, it should start to play.
Public address system test. This is a test of the public address system.
There you go, the output gain on that.
Required.
Test de la sonorisation. Ceci est un test de la sonorisation.
Okay.
Aucune action n'est requise.
So if I then stop that,
Address system test.
let's say I triggered number 4. So you can't hear it now, obviously, because we're selected on 1. We can just rotate across to number 4.
Test de la sonorisation.
There you go, that's a much
Ceci
higher
est un test
output
de la
gain.
sonorisation.
A little VU
Aucune action
meter
n'est requise.
telling you on number 4.
Public address system test. This is a test of the public address system.
Okay, and then
No action.
stop that. Now, the other thing you can do is if you press the button here, it go into auto scan mode. So if I triggered number 3 now, it's picked up voice. So hold on, let's start again. Trigger number 3.
System test.
There you go. It's
This
landed
is a
on number
test
3.
of the public address system. No action is required.
Test de la sonorisation.
Okay, and as you can
Ceci
see, with this particular one, for this node that I've got selected, this VIP001, that is actually associated with a zone. So it's told me this is zone B5 that it's broadcasting to. If I triggered one of the other ones, then you won't actually hear it. So output 5, nothing's going to happen because it's coming out of output 5 on the back of the Vipedia, and I've only collected in 1 to 4. But let's just do that. Let's connect in 5 to 8. Okay, just a bit of a stiff cable there. And put in 5 to 8 on the back as well. Should be just the next one along. Okay. There we go. And if I go across to input 5, saying that's zone K2, trigger 5.
Public address system test.
And there it's going.
This is a test of the public address system.
Put into
No
auto scan and say we select 7.
system test.
There you go,
This is a
landed on
test
7.
of the public address system. No action is required.
Test de la sonorisation. Ceci est un test.
Okay, so the jack there at the front is for the audio coming out, so you're feeding in through the RJ45s and the audio comes out here depending on what you've selected. The jack at the back, that's actually for my programming jack, so I can program from there, but it also gives you a ground connection, because you do need to connect this to a 0 volt reference on the rack. So the sleeve pin on the TRS jack connector, we need to connect to ground, which I have done over here. That's connected to ground on this Vipedia. There's also a reset button there in case anything happens, but that's also needed for programming purposes. And you can adjust a few settings. We'll go back. That's the active threshold, so that's how loud it needs to be in order for it to consider that there's a broadcast on that particular output. And it's a range of 0 to 1023. Okay, and what's it currently set to? I've currently got it set to 300. You can adjust it, and you can save it to flash memory, and it'll recall it next time you boot up. The other setting that you've got is the average quantity, is how many reads it will take of that particular input before it considers, yes, that's a stable audio coming out on that port. It's not just a glitch that I've picked up. The other thing we could do is we can actually inject the other way. So when we're hunting for an amplifier, we can inject audio here and it will work back to front. So these could be plugged into the ongoing cable to the amplifiers, which is what we're going to be doing on HS1 SAT testing. So we can inject, say, test tone here, 20 kilohertz, so it won't broadcast out to the field, or if you do, people won't hear it. And then it will then route, depending on what you selected here, it would route to the corresponding output on that jack, and then you should see the relevant amplifiers fire up. That's part of our planned testing. There's just a little rocker on-off switch there, and that's about it, really. Okay, all right, catch you later.